Dear all, good evening. This is ADHE 603 Teaching, Learning and Student Support. This is our third module and we are on week 5. So last time we discussed about the creative project that you created, and many of you created a really good project. And the thing that everyone had in common was the project idea, the time frame, content or theory that it covers. A project has to have some planning or activities, and it had the project has to have some outcomes, objectives. You also mentioned about how to assess the project, and there has to be scaffolding done by the teachers so that the students can meaningfully perform the project. And at last not the least, but there has to be a sharing of the project among the students so that the ideas can be shared. And thank you everyone for sharing your creative project. Now today we'll be talking a little bit about the problem-based learning. So I have taken this from the Salvin, Baden and Major 2004. Problem-based learning involves learners in a new way that use problems or scenarios to encourage students to engage themselves in the learning process. In problem-based curricula, the problem scenario should serve as a central component so that the lectures, seminars, or skill laboratories can fit into them in order to in order to inform students rather than offering them great chunks of propositional knowledge that they may find difficult to integrate into their understanding. Designing a curriculum based on content and disciplinary knowledge and then trying to make it problem based usually ends in disaster. So whether it is a module or a whole program that is designed to be problem based, the starting point should be a set of problems. Here, note that the starting points should be a set of problems that will equip students to become independent inquirers who see learning and epistemology as flexible entities and perceive that there are also other valid ways of seeing things besides their own perspective. So it is very important that the students become independent inquirers, and also they see themselves, they also see that other valid ways of seeing things beside their own perspective. So when the students are involved in problem-based learning, they see others' perspective equally important as well as theirs. So however, it is important to examine the content and culture in which the curriculum is placed, and it is to this that we turn in next chapter. Okay, sorry, that has to be removed. Okay, I see that the design thinking approach is very much in the problem-based learning. Design thinking approach is can be applied where the students empathize the problem, they understand the problem from others' perspective, and they define what is the problem, and then they also like working in group, they ideate or they put different ideas as how to solve the problem, and out of many ideas that they have, they choose one idea that they can prototype, and after prototyping they test the prototype to see if the problem they have has been solved by the design that they have made. So while students are involved in design thinking, the design thinking makes the student creative, it makes them problem solver, critical thinker, they can analyze the information, makes the student confident, and also helps the student collaborate. So this is a little bit about the problem-based learning. So Barrow's various teaching strategies for problem-based learning. Barrow's puts like what are the various teaching strategy. he says like lecture-based cases is one of them. Case-based lectures is another one. Case method is another one. Modified case-based is another one. And problem-based itself is another one of various teaching strategies that we can use for problem-based learning. And another one is closed-loop problem-based learning. So you can read what are the definitions of the each lectures or the each teaching strategy over here. Now, talking about the difference between IBL and problem-based learning, sometimes it is said as PRBL or PBL. So here, this is from Sprunken and Smith article that I think we have already read this one. So I'll just read out what are the difference between inquiry-based learning and problem-based learning. Defining the relationship between IBL and problem-based learning, which has fraught with difficulty. Most researchers acknowledge an overlap in approaches, but there are conceptual differences in distinguishing the two. For example, as shown in table 1, I have not included that. Prince and Fetter suggest that the major difference between IBL and PBL lies in the type of question, with PBL by definition involves complex, ill-structured, open-ended, real-world problem. So while IBL may possibly use such problems, so PBL uses complex, ill-structured, open-ended, real-world problem, while inquiry-based possibly use such problems. This distinction is in contrast to many researchers who suggest that PBL usually focuses on questions to which answers already exist, while IBL often involves open-ended question. So there might be an answer, already existed answer in PBL, while in IBL it might be open-ended. So some argues on that one too. A further difference postulated by McMaster University is that PBL has a shorter time scale, one class to a few weeks, while IBL can be for a sustained period. Khan and Rauki suggest that PBL was a subset of IBL with other pedagogies such as project work and a small scale investigation. The picture also the figure over here, and Sprunken Smith used the notion of collaboration to distinguish. While IBL can be done in collaborative group, PBL is usually done in collaboration. In considering the debate, Sprunken concluded that as a guide, it appears that PBL is a more prescriptive form of IBL, and thus PBL is seen as a subset of IBL, and both IBL and PBL are subset of active learning as shown in the figure. So this is the figure in which the problem-based learning and small-scale investigation and project works are like the three dimensions of learning, while in active you can see in this picture that problem-based learning is a subset of the inquiry-based learning, which is again a subset of active learning. So difference between project-based learning and problem-based learning. So there are different kinds of learning. And there is again another one. In problem-based learning and project-based learning, here you can see problem-based learning and project-based learning. Problem-based learning is open-ended. Project-based is tutor set structured task. In problem-based learning, it is contingent and constructed. Project-based learning is performative and practical. What is the role of the student? In problem-based learning, the role of the student is active participation and independent critical inquirers who own their own learning experience. And in project-based learning, the role of the student is completer of the project or a number of project team who develops a solution or strategy. So what is the role of the tutor? So in problem-based learning, it enables enabler of the opportunities for learning and task setter and project supervisor. So types of activity that the students do in problem-based learning and project-based learning is the kind of development of strategies to facilitate team and individual learning. In project-based learning, they become the problem solving and problem management. This is taken by this article. So while talking about the project-based learning, inquiry-based learning, problem-based learning, I see it like this, like it is project-based learning is a it is included in the problem-based learning, which is again can be included in the inquiry-based learning, which can be included in active or student-centered learning. So these are like inside this we have this, and inside this we have this, and inside this we have this. Okay. So problem-based learning and project-based learning are similar yet different in conceptualization. Both PRBL and PBL are inquiry method promoting an action-oriented model of learning to engage the student in complex and critical thinking. For the purpose of this study, project-based learning names a particular approach under the large umbrella of problem-based learning, and problem-based learning as defined as a systematic teaching method that engages the students in learning knowledge and skill through an extended inquiry process structured around complex, authentic questions and carefully designed projects and tasks. So this is taken by this one. So, excuse me. So, at the end, I just want to talk about a little bit about the student focus, student as participant, teacher focus, student as audience. Uh, what are the four dimension? Emphasis on the research process and problems, and emphasizing on the research content. So you can read about this one. The links between the curriculum design and the research teaching nexus. This is by Kelly 2005. So here in this quadrant, I would say, like research-based curriculum emphasizes student undertaking inquiry-based learning in this quadrant, whereas in the teacher focus and emphasis on research process and problems, these are research-oriented. Curriculum emphasize on teaching process of knowledge and construction in the subject. In a student focus, student as participant and emphasis on the research content, research is tutored. So curriculum emphasizes on learning focus on students writing and discussing papers or essay, whereas in this category or in this quadrant we have the research-led curriculum is structured around teaching subject and the content. So these are some of the references that I have. You can refer to this. Let me stop my recording.